Hey guys, this is Brutal Boris. Welcome into the channel. I wanted to do a quick video on the top 30 or so questions that I've seen in Quinfall from the last month or two of playing in pre-release. As you guys know, the game's going live this February 6th on Friday, so I wanted to get this out there for you guys to watch because there's a lot of older information out on YouTube, and I feel like there's not enough new information for the new players coming along. First things first, as you guys will notice, my YouTube channel has been rebranded, so those of you that are old subscribers, thank you. It does show that I have 1 or 0 subscribers, so hopefully that updates in the next few days. For those of you that are new, throw me a subscription or give me a thumbs up on the video or comment, any of those. You don't have to do any of them, but they help. Thank you very much, and we will get started with the first 30 or so questions that I have seen in the game. The first thing I wanted to throw out there is obviously shameless plug. Down here in the bottom left, I got my referral code. If you do get in the game, right now I think it's $10. So if you use that referral code when you get into the game, there's a referral option. You will get some extra Vcoins, which is for the cosmetic shop. It's pretty handy. I think it's 1,000 Vcoins. Gives me a few Vcoins if you play for a certain amount of time as well. So appreciate that if you guys use that. Now, the first question is that I've seen a lot, and you don't actually see this question often until people are in level 25, is when is the global chat available? Unfortunately, it's not available until you hit level 25. So you will be kind of blind. Unless they change that for the go live, you're kind of blind and you can only chat in the public or local chat. And it's a little unfortunate because you really can't ask the global chat a lot of questions until you get to 25, and a lot of times by that time you've answered many of the questions you had, but and maybe that's their reasoning. But anyway, so you will see chat, and I'll show you guys real quick what it looks like. You will see the global chat come available for you once you hit level 25. Until then, you're going to only be able to do public. Alright, so the next question is, why is some people's chat worded odd? So what you'll notice is once you get into the game, there will be various languages being translated. They have an AI translator of some sorts that is translating all kinds of other languages: Spanish, French, German, Russian, I think, probably Turkey. They're in Turkey. The developers are from Turkey, so I imagine there's various languages that are being translated, and that will translate it into your language that you have on the game. So I'm in English, so anybody that types in Spanish, it generally will translate it. Sometimes it doesn't read quite the same because the translator is trying to do its best, but just know that you're not always going to know exactly what the communication's a little wonky sometimes, but just be aware of that. The next question is, what is the difference between channel 1 and channel 4? So obviously, hopefully you kind of got an idea when you went through the intro. I would skip the tutorial, by the way. Don't even worry about the tutorial. Just go straight into the game and just go straight in without doing the tutorial, because it's a little janky tutorial anyway. But anyway, channel 1 and 4. Channel 1 is the channel that you go into. It allows you to get a bonus to certain skills. But the channel 4 is the PvP, channel 1 is PvE. And the way you get to that is you will go into the settings in the game menu in the bottom right, and you will go to main menu. And once you're in the main menu, you will then choose whether you want to go to your country, obviously, and then channel 1 here. If I click on that, it shows me my characters I have. You can pick and go into channel 1, or let me go back, or you can go into channel 4. This is how you go into the two different channels. Channel 1 obviously is all PvE, PvE events, but PvP is only in the red areas, the red circles, and we'll cover that in a little bit. Channel 4 is wide open PvP unless you're in the protected city zones. And if you're inside your base in the blue zones, you're not going to be able to be attacked as well. You can be killed if you're in a blue zone in the channel 4 outside of your house, and they can get to you. So just be aware that there are boosted benefits to and experience to doing PvP, so that's an option for you guys to think about. Alright, so the next question is, how do I add inventory or weight to my character? So when you first get in and you're looking at your inventory, you can hit the tab button or the bottom right hand control if you go into your inventory, you will only have a certain number of these slots unlocked, and the rest will have little locks. The way you unlock that is you literally go to the V store, which is under here. This is where this is one of those things. It's kind of like Path of Exile. It's like pay for convenience. So you go under single use, and then in there you look at the storage and inventory. And you can add 1 inventory slot at a time for 40 Vcoins. You can add 4 at a time, 8 at a time, 16. And then also storage slot expansion is where you can actually add storage slots to your depot, which is where you have kind of city storage. So each of those, and then go down here, you have weight expansion, which is right here, weight limit. And the same thing. So you have your spots here that you can add storage to, and then your weight limit is down here at the bottom. I think the very beginning of the game, your max weight is 100. You will get additional weight gains through your bags as you level, but each of these items will grant a certain amount of space. So if I take that off, let me throw it in my inventory, my weight went down from, let's see, 385, so I'm adding 85 with this bag. But you can increase your weight by 200 by default by buying these items. You want to be real careful when you're buying the weight and inventory slots. You don't want to buy more than you can use on the character. They used to be able to refund that if you bought too much, but if you buy too much now, you end up like I have here. Let's see, one of these guys right here. I've got an extra 8 inventory slots for this character only. It cannot be transferred to my other characters, so be real careful with that. All right, that covers the inventory and weight. So the next thing is, people ask all the time, do you lose anything in PvP? And the short answer is no. You don't really lose anything at all. You obviously you have to spawn back at another area, wherever the starting area of, if you're in a PvP arena or you're in somewhere playing, you will have to respawn, but you don't lose any inventory. You don't really lose, I don't think you even lose the durability on your equipment. You might lose you lose that when you're fighting mobs, but I don't even think you lose durability against PvP players. So they can't loot you, they can't steal from you. They just get PvP points when you lose get to them, and vice versa. You get PvP points when you fight them and win. So going back here, there's a good look at the harbor. One of the next questions is how do I get a ship? Now, if you do the MSQ, which is the base quest line, which when you first start, you come right here and talk to this guy right here. That's what I would do. I would run the quest line. One of the quests, he'll actually have you come out here and get a raft. So this is the very starting city, Silvercrest Harbor. And once you start, you talk to this guy, you get a raft, and you basically drop it out like that. So like I said, you come here, you talk to this guy, you hit place in water, so you'll have your raft here. I've obviously got the frigate right out there. So you hit place in water, it does this little red thing, you run over, and when it turns blue, you left click and it places it in the water, and there's your raft. When you're done and you want to recall it, you just basically go to this guy and you hit call to harbor. It charges you 2,500 coins, which is absolutely nothing, because what it does is it repairs your ship back to 100%. So let's call both those back to harbor, and they're in your inventory now. Obviously, we can cover this later, but there's a lot of other things you can do in the Harbor Master tab. Next question is, how do I tame horses or animals? And that one's pretty straightforward too. If you do the MSQ, they basically walk you through one of the first quests. You come over here in the first city and you talk to the animal trainer, and he will have you buy a lasso, and you will lasso this little dummy over here, right here. You'll basically buy the lasso from him, and then you'll lasso this thing right here, and you'll get a horse. Now out in the wild, you'll see horses like this, and you'll basically want to have your lasso in your inventory. You'll point at the horse, and you obviously, when you're out in the wild, you can't get super close to them because they will disappear on you, but you basically point at the horse and you throw the lasso at them. So let's run out here real quick. I'll find one and be right back. Okay, so here we go, coming up on a wild horse. So basically you want to dismount if you're on a mount. Don't want to be too close to them, and you get a certain distance, and that's probably good right there. And you want to have your arrow, your aim on them, and then you if you notice in the F6 in the bottom right, I've got my lasso set up. So I'm going to hit F6 and a bar will jump up. And basically you just have to hit spacebar right when it's on the marker. And I hit it perfectly. So if you miss, you'll get 3 tries, I believe it is. And then once you do that, the horse then goes into your inventory. So let's see, where did he go? Right here. Got a green horse, a weak horse 2. It's a female, which is pretty cool because I'll use this in a few minutes for another one of the questions, how to breed. So let's go ahead and cover that real quick. How do you breed horses? So if you click the tab button and go into mounts, then you have a breeding option right here at the very bottom. All your horses will be in your inventory as you add them. So let's just right click and add that horse into my inventory. So now it's going to be over here. It's probably going to be at the bottom. There it is right there. So I've already got a bunch of horses already breeding in process. So go to the breeding tab and you basically just click on the horse you want to breed, and then you click the horse you want to breed with. Now you have to have some, for the lower levels, you have to have the green horse medallions in your inventory, which you will loot all over the place, but you also can only breed the same color. So I would have to have a blue to mount to breed with this blue. So once you have the right ones in there, you just hit start breeding. They breed, and then as you can see down here, these are finished. So I'm going to hit take on all these and see what we've got. Let's go up to the top. So now we've got multiple here, so I can click on a blue one and another blue one, and I think I've got coins, maybe not. Yep, I do. So I hit breed. It takes 12 hours to breed. Now you can buy an item on the Vcoin shop to shorten the time. It's really not worth it. I would just breed, let this run. Do as you can do. I guess you can have 10 of each horse. You can have a total of 20. Top left up here, so it shows 20. And I'll show you all the horses I just pulled out of the breeding process right here. I got a bunch of males and females. Females can each breed 3 times and then they're done. You can you would then have to reset them using a reset coin, or you would just sell them to a vendor or on the merchant. All right, the next question is, how do I mine the higher tier items? And I'm saying mine, it's how do I harvest certain things. So I will tell you, in the map, when you finish in the beginning area, and sorry, the map is very cluttered at first, so let me turn off several things here. All right, so in the map, once you finish the starting zone, which is Meadow and Silvercrest and all these areas over here, you will keep going to the right. And the further right on the map that you go, the higher level of mining you will get to. When you get to the point where you're needing to mine sulfur, gold, adamite, cobalt, those kind of things, it's down here in this desert area, Dietria. It's over here. So just so you know, all these areas up in here in this beginning zone, and this is a massive zone, by the way, are you're going to have lower level things like coal, iron, copper, and things like that. And then when you get to gold, adamite, cobalt, all those higher end, and mithril, those are all over here in Dietria and further east on the map out this way. All right, so the next question is, how do I find the merchant and the depot owner? So let me jump back to town and show you guys that. Okay, so now I'm in Meadow. I will tell you the harbor towns do not have merchants, but in Meadow, which is one of the first cities you'll come to and visit, right over here you'll see Market Merchant. So in the top right you will see the little scales in your little mini map in the top right. That's what you're going to look for. I will tell you, a lot of people think you have to run to the merchant. You actually do not. You can hit any town that you're in that has a merchant. You can actually go to the bottom right, hit your tab button or open at the bottom right, and you can open the central market right here. As long as you're in town, you can open the market and find things that you want to buy. Everybody's always asking, where can I get another mine pick, or an axe, or a hunting knife? All those kind of things are player produced that you can buy in the merchant. You just go over and look for those items in the merchant. So again, any of the major cities, you can open it and dig through and find what you need anywhere in the city. And then the second piece of that is you will want to know where your depot keeper is, which is also called the storage keeper, I think, when you're doing the quest line. That's very close to the merchant typically, and it is right here, and you run up to him and you hit E, Here's also where, like earlier, you won't have all these spots unlocked. When you first get into the game, you'll probably have about half of them. And you can buy additional inventory spots with Vcoins. And each of the cities, you can actually view the other cities to see what you've got in those other cities. And it'll tell you kind of how much space you've used. It's very similar to New World, if you guys have played New World. And that those items are only viewable from the other cities, and then but not transferable unless you go and transfer those items. The next question that I'm going to jump into is, how do I get a home and how many homes can I have? All cities have 3 different house sizes. Here's one right here. There's one right down here. And there's a third one on the other side of the town. Basically, you just look for the little house symbol. You run up to it. It says house for sale. Now, obviously, I've already purchased this one, but I think it's like 50,000 gold or coins or 100,000 coins. Once you purchase it, you own it forever. In each city, you can own all 3 houses. There's not a weekly or monthly rent currently. It's purchased one time and used forever. And in here, you can place all of your crafting tables you want. You can place storage boxes like this here. They're pretty cool. This is the, I think, biggest of the 3 in the starting city. So I've got a bunch of a bunch of low-level crafting tables in here to use. But anyway, you can own up to 3 in each city. And the next question, which aligns very closely to that, is where do I buy the crafting tables? And I will tell you, every city is also going to have the construction worker, which is right here. If you always look for the little gearbox in the city you're in, you go to the construction worker, and here's all the different crafting tables you can buy. Later on, when you have an altar or on your ship from the shipyard, you can buy these as well from the shipyard master. But anyway, here it is. You go to the construction worker to buy those construction or those workbenches and forges and spinning wheels and all those things, which you can then place in your house. One exception, you cannot place the beehives in your house. You have to place those on an altar out on your own land. So the next question is, everybody asks, is crafting worth it? And that's really an objective question. I will tell you, crafting has been very helpful for me. I've been able to craft some of my gear. I've gotten to where I craft all of my own weapons, all my own tools. So I feel like it's extremely worth it, but some people may not want to do that. They may just want to buy all the items off of the merchant. But the thing is if you get into a good clan or guild, then you're going to be able to probably do certain things where you can supply certain things, and some other people do the crafting, or you may be the crafter for your clan. So just keep that in mind. The next thing a lot of people ask is, what gear do I wear? And that's it's not really objective, it's kind of subjective. So when you look at your inventory, it actually has a little bar over here on the far left, and it shows what your weight is with your gear on. So if you hover over this bar, you can see if you stay in the robe armor, you're going to have a higher HP, magic HP, run speed, and MP. So depending on, like, I think right now, most skills right now, they pretty much say to wear heavy armor chest. And then I'm supposed to have, because I'm doing crossbow, I'm supposed to have light gear on, but I've been swapping between life staff and a crossbow with this character, so I've got robes on. But yeah, if you put one heavy piece on and the rest is robe, as a magic caster, you can stay in the very bottom, which allows you to have a higher magic AP and higher run speed. Then if you want to do crossbow or bows, maybe dual axes or dual daggers, you can do light gear for the remaining pieces. So you can play with heavy everything as a magic player, but it's going to obviously slow you down. You're going to have lower magic AP and things like that. So just kind of keep those things in mind as you're building your character out. Kind of going back, I'm going to build back on the crafting earlier. People constantly are asking, how do I craft certain things? If you go to the construction area, you can see if you go to the construction worker, you can see all the different tools. But if you go under life skills and you go under the crafting section here, let's say I want to know how I make helmets. So I can click on crafting on the blacksmith, and underneath that it shows you all of the gear you can craft for each tier of the blacksmithing. So obviously I'm level 33, so I can craft the top level here, Blacksmith Forge Tier 3, and you can see all of the items I can craft. The red items I can't wear with this character, but I can craft them. So just know that this is the easiest way to go and see what you want to, where you can go craft certain things. So once again, you go to life skills, you go to crafting. Let's say I want to be able to know what kind of jewelry I can make at each level. I click on the jewel crafting. It says my level in the top left and each of the benches and what you can craft under each of those. So that's the easiest way to see what and where you can craft things. Okay, so since we've just covered some of the construction, how to craft things and how to do certain things, and we've also looked at your gear level and everything, a lot of people ask what is the best weapon to use in the game. That's really objective as well. It's what you enjoy playing with. I will tell you, I started with the life staff. It is a little bit tougher to level with, I personally think, but the one benefit of life staff is you actually can do heals on yourself and others. So if you don't want to use potions as much, you can use life staff as a leveling character. I did switch over to crossbows. I like the speed of crossbows. I like the dual axes and the dual daggers as well. But every class or every weapon has its own benefits and downsides. Only downside with bow and crossbow is you have to either buy or make your own arrows. I believe that's the only weapon that requires an additional input. So just know that if you go into using crossbows, you either have to go to one of the vendors and buy your bow, your arrows, or you have to make them in your house or at your altar. All right, so we're going to jump to the next questions. I think earlier I talked about houses and how you could buy those, and now we're going to run out and look at the farm. If you run out of any city that you're in, generally speaking, it's on one side or the other. I just got lucky. Right here's where the caravan manager is, if that comes up. But here is the three, you always have three farms. And as you can see, the pink ones, I have not purchased those yet, but you basically just walk up to it just like a house. You click on it, and I can buy this. It's meadow number 30. It tells me what size it is and how much it costs. So I would hit buy on that. So I'll just hit buy and confirm it. And now that I've purchased this, I own it forever, and I own this one over here forever as well. So I can go in here and plant stuff, and likewise I can go in here and plant or place animals. I don't think I have any animals, or let me jump out and grab some stuff real quick. Okay, I'm back. I just went out and got some seeds real quick, and what you do basically is you open your inventory. I typically like to zoom in a little bit on my character. It's a little bit easier to align things, and you just right click on the seeds, and you can see they have a durability of 100 each. And I will tell you, most of the items, one of the other questions is how long do they last. So when you right click and plant the item, you can see I can't plant it when it's red. When it's blue, you can plant it, and then you can just plant whatever you want in here. Fill it up with as many of the items as you want, and then you can also harvest water in the ocean or in lakes. And when you click on these items, you can click on them and you can water them. But as you can see, the maturity now has just over 7.5 hours on this rice, and the maturity on this one is 7 hours and 35 minutes for the onion. This onion is saying this is a pumpkin, and it has 10 hours. So if you wait, I think it's like an hour past the maturity, you either have to water it or harvest it. If you don't, let's say you plant these items and you come back 2 days later to harvest them, they'll be gone. So you really have to be on top of things if you're going to plant things. Planting or placing goats and cows, I went out and grabbed some for you guys. You just basically right click them in your inventory and left click them in your farm, and each of those items, so each of these guys will produce stuff. The cows produce, they stay alive and forever, but you do have to feed them in order to harvest. Off of these guys you get milk and manure. Off the pigs you get lard and manure. Off the goats you get wool and milk, and then off of the sheep you get wool, off of chickens you get feathers and eggs. So basically you can buy in the city, there's a animal vendor that you can buy feed for these guys, or you can learn to craft it in your crafting table, your cooking crafting table, and make feed for each of those guys. But basically when I run out of here, they disappear. Nobody else can see those. It's kind of instant for you when you run in to that area. You get your animals and stuff, so I could actually place stuff over here as well and run crops out of each of these. Just remember that when you plant stuff, you need to come back and get those items pretty quickly. All right, so one of the next questions that I see often is, where do I find skill books for my weapons? So if you hit K, you can then go in and look at each of the weapons that you are leveling. Your first point that you spend on, I've reset everything on several of mine here. The very first point you spend, obviously here's all the different weapons you can have. When you click on, let's say we want to do two-handed sword, and we're going to do cyclone slash here, and I click on that, it says, are you sure you want to use one of your points here? I've got 14. You hit confirm. You don't have to use a point on the base level skills, all of these. Once you pick a side, that's the side you go with as well. That's something to be aware of. So look at both sides and decide which route you want to go. Now, let's say I do all 6 of these. And right now resets are free, so you can get all your points and books back, but after go live it may not be the same. And then let's say I want to level cyclone slash up. I think it goes up to 25. I hit the plus sign here. I still have points to spend, but it's going to also require that I have this low tier book, longsword book. Each of your different weapons has those requirements. So if I hit here, I need a low tier dual crossbow book. The first 5 or 10 levels is green, and then it goes up to blue. So as you level these, you'll have green books up to a certain number of levels, and then it gets exponential. So you need 1 for the first few, and let's see, when I'm going to level 6, oh, it says 1 still. I think they may have changed that to where it's 1 for each level. But then blue books for the next 5 to 10 levels, and then you will need purple books for the last 5 to 10 levels. So just know that that's where you go to spend your books. Where do you find them? You can hit the map, and my map is really pretty busy here. So if you scroll out a little bit, you can click on any of the mob areas right here. Let's click on this guy. It shows you what loot drops for them. So if you scroll down, you should then be able to see, here's the skill books this area drops. If I click on the Abyss Camp over here, level 1 through 5, which is one of the beginning areas, here's the skill books they drop. So you can see they drop pets, they drop skill books, they drop skill stones, power cards, etc. So that's where you find the books. As a level 25, you will get loot potentially from this level 15 to 20, but once you hit level 26, if these are level 15, if you're 10 levels out of scope, then you won't get loot from these guys. It'll just give you a minor amount of experience for your weapon, but you won't get any character experience or any loot drops. So that's the way it is currently. So always make sure the area you're farming in, you are not at least 10 levels above them, so you actually get the drops. That's also one of the other questions, is where do you find pets? And like I said, if you click on these, you can scroll down and see what pets drop, and that's where you find them. It's just a lower rate. The drop rate for skill books and pets is a lot harder than it is for these cards and this lower level loot. So just know that you may have to grind a little bit in some areas to get those items. Okay, so the next question is how do you start a clan? I jumped on one of my alternate characters here so that I could show you guys. If you hit the O key on your keyboard, you can open up the clan ally tab, and right now it's got a lot of the old historical information in there. On day 1, it's all going to be zeroed out, so this will all start over fresh. You can create a clan. It's 12 million coins. It's not a lot. You get a lot of coins in the game, so that's not a crazy amount, believe it or not. Or if you want to search for a clan, you can search for the name up top, or you can look here and see the level, PvE, PvP experience. Let's say you want to join the clan with the most PvP experience. That tab's highlighted. Death and taxes right now is the highest. The highest PvE is infestation. So you just click on join, and it will request to join their clan. And then hopefully you've already chatted to them. If not, if they posted in the chat that they're recruiting. So That's the easiest way to create or join a clan. Alright, so now I've jumped back to my main character, and one of the next questions is how do I place a altar, which is where you're going to have your own land and house, or how do I place my clan altar if I'm creating my own clan? So the easiest way to do that is if you hit the map button, if you go out, you can see all these red and blue circles. All these red and blue circles, the red is the PvP zones where you would be open to PvP. And then the blue is the PvE zones. So as you can see, I've placed a clan and a personalized altar on this K16 area here just as a test a little while back, and I ended up keeping it. But basically you go to one of these zones wherever you want to place your altar, and you hit the U key. When you hit U, it brings up this tab, and it's basically you're going to have 160 leather log and 120 stone to put it down the first time. And as you notice on the left, to place it, you push the left button, and then once you are done and you've placed your actual altar, let me run over here to my altar so I can actually show you the settings you can do. Now that this is just a test area I built, just playing around, put some crafting tables. But basically, you come over to your altar and you can hit the U key, and it gives you the option to place it. But if you right click on your mouse, it opens up and allows you to pick. This is where you would pick, if I wanted to place a clan altar, I would pick that. But also if you right click, it allows you to pick and choose what you want to build with. So let's say I wanted to build a stone foundation. I can click that and I can place it. Obviously I don't have stone blocks in my inventory, but that's how you do it. You right click once you hit U. So hit U, right click, and you pick what pieces you want to build, and then it allows you to build on your own plot of land. When you are on your altar and you come up real close to it, it highlights the zone that you own. So I've leveled this up to the max, so I've got all the way out to the end of the edges of the little star area there. If you click, this is also where if you click on your altar, you can store, it does have a decay time, so you have to put items, wood and iron and stone in there to keep it from deteriorating depending on what level it is. And then this is also where you can go and buy some of the crafting tables. So you don't have to go buy those all the way in town and carry them out to your city, to your local altar. You can click that on your clan altar or on your individual altar and place those. And also certain items, if your place deteriorates or decays, some of your items go into the lost items page here, and you can grab those back. If you place an altar and you level it up to level 3 or something, if you remove the altar, basically you're starting over. So you go to place it again, you're going to be starting over from 0. So just remember that for both clan and personal altars, that you will be starting over at 0 once you place them and then pick them up. All right, so the last group of questions is 2 or 3 questions is how do you level your city or your altar to max and your clan altar, and how do I level past level 50? That's almost one of the most common questions is after level 50, what do I do? So as I said before, if you go to the map, as you move farther and farther east, things start getting higher levels. So you see here, True Will Manor is level 60. Stonewall Castle out here is level 100, and it goes up all the way up to 110 out here. And so if you just continuously go to east in different zones, you're going to, by default, you're going to be able to level some that way. Another way to level is by crafting, using all your crafting tables and doing crafting. That gives you character experience in addition to life skill experience. And then the next way is if you hit the tab button and you can go into and you can run dungeons right here. If you click on dungeons, you can run the 3 or 4 different types of dungeons they've got out there at different levels: easy, normal, hard, and very hard. You can run those individually or in a party. So that gives you experience. There is a few other ways. If you hit tab and you go to, there's a party finder. So a lot of times people will put out that they are doing a party for general. So you can enter one or you can join one if there's one active for dungeons or general. A lot of times people will create parties to go to what they call XP Island, which is all level 110. I believe there's a couple different XP Islands, but this is one. There's an island out here. There's also dungeons in the water, which I've not gone to yet. There's several islands, but some of those islands have level 110 characters. So just know that when you go out to those with a party, you can do some pretty quick leveling of your character, your skills, as well as your individual experience for your character. But again, you can do it any number of ways, just gathering items. So if you just gather certain items, you're going to get experience. If you craft items, you're going to get experience. So just know that there's multiple ways to level past level 50, which is a lot of times people hit that. They finish the MSQ around 25 to 40, I think, level 40, maybe 50, and depending on how quickly they go and what else they do. And then they're like, what do I do now? There's several ways to level. But anyway, that's a bunch of the quick questions. I think it was like 30, 35, somewhere in there. I wanted to go through all those real quick. And I apologize, this was just a stream of thoughts and questions that I've heard. I wanted to just get this out there so you guys could hear it all. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you check back for my next videos. And definitely leave me some questions in the bottom, in the comments, what you guys run into that you don't know how to do or you haven't been able to figure out. And I will do my best to answer those, or I'll create a video about it. Thank you, and take it easy, everyone. See you in the next video.